I'm Brenda Simanipike, a principal of Masiphumelele Primary School, which is a school situated in Makaza, and I know that most of the people know Kailicha. I'm happy that the previous speaker took you through what we did at the GSB. What do we call it? GSB. That's me, nervous, don't worry about me. But I'm gonna break it and put it into simple terms. The impact that it had in my environment, the transformation that it brought about in my school. When I moved to Masiphumelele Primary School, I was coming from a high school, being a physical science teacher, grade 12 specifically, for 21 years. And I moved from one school where I was a post-level 1 teacher for 10 years, my second school, 8 years as the head of the science department, the third school as the deputy of the school. And in all that 21 years, I never had sleepless night because I'm the Iron Lady by birth. If you go to my school, you'll understand what I'm saying. But then there's one thing that I'm not gonna lie about. When it came to weekends, I never enjoyed weekend with my family. Because there's always in your science class that one child that needs you to go an extra mile. And to me, it was like, if there's one that's gonna be left behind, then I haven't done a perfect job. But then after taking quite a toll, I asked myself, for 21 years, you've been struggling to make sure that these kids make it out of education. What is it that is missing? And the only answer that I had, was that the primary school teachers are not doing their job perfectly. So they needed somebody like me to go down and check what was it that was happening so as to sort it out. Wow, little did I know that if there are teachers that need to be applauded in this country, is the primary school teachers. They are doing an excellent job. Then, immediately, there's something that said your attitude needs to change. You need to get some help, because as a principal of a primary school, you're not gonna make it. Because remember, I came prepared for a certain battle. Now when I arrive there, the tools that I have are not gonna make me to be successful in the school. These people are humble enough. These people are already doing their job. Then I needed to make sure that I make the proper research to check what was it that was missing. And through the help of GSB, I managed to find some clues and guidance. Number one, all of us, we know that educating a child is a process. The success of that process depends on the willingness of all the stakeholders. It depends on the willingness of all the stakeholders. You talk about the parents. If you don't play your role as a parent, then you need to own the results that wanna come. If teachers don't put their effort, you can just imagine what you're gonna get. If kids are not willing to learn, then it's a process. It needs everybody to cooperate. Communication is the key. If the stakeholders cannot communicate effectively, then there is a problem. That is why through GSB, I've managed to figure it out that number one, I need to make sure that in this institution I promote effective communication. There should be a system of communication that makes sense and is understandable by everybody in the system. Remember, as a leader, you need to set the climate of communication. You need to be positive. You need to be orderly. And immediately people see that you are not confident of whatever you're about to implement in a school. Wow, I feel sorry for you. They must look at you and know that she knows her story. So please don't challenge her. Just learn from the best. Secondly, as a leader or a principal of a school, just make sure that you don't let your personality or your leadership style hinder the flow of communication within the institution. Your name values less than the name of the school. If it takes the school forward, then let it be done. It is not about you. It is about the institution and what the kids are going to benefit from the institution. Your attitude. Remember one thing. Arrogant approach invites resistance. You go to teachers, to your staff room with an arrogant attitude, I feel sorry for you. Invite that stress. Then you will be out of those premises very soon. As a leader, you need to remember that there is nothing damaging as doing the wrong thing the right way. You are doing a mess, but you do it perfectly. You say you communicate with teachers whilst you move around shouting people. Yes, you are communicating, but is it a proper way of communicating with others? I'll leave you there. It is not always what you say that matters the most, but how you say it. It's crucial. You know, sometimes the content of what you say might be the best, but the way you deliver it to people, it just defeats the purpose. Nobody wants to listen to you because you don't have a way of reaching to people. Be careful. Also remember, the words that you utter have the potential to destroy or to build a relationship. This is my advice to teachers. You spend most of your daily hours at work. Surround yourself with people who boost your morale and see value in you. Please, if you see a crowd, I'm sorry to mention this, but this is a reality. Our staff room these days are formed by cliques. When you move into the school tomorrow, or even now, just visualize your group members. Are they boosting your morale? Are they making you a better person? Remember this, for every mess that you make in one child's life, it can never be repaid by a blessing. You mess somebody's life, then remember the payment will be a mess in your own kids. You got what I said? If you go to school with the aim of destroying the school so that you can get a position, the person who suffers the most is the child. You are messing somebody's life, and I promise you, there's nobody who's gonna give you a blessing for that. You're gonna eat the cake that you are baking, whether it's gonna be your kids that will be eating it. The second thing that I came to realize through GSP is that healthy interpersonal relationships in a school are key. They are key. We are working with the same child. Let us talk the same language. We are working with the same child. Let us communicate and let us talk the same language in order for this child to understand us. In doing so, don't try to move around and change people. Start with the man in the mirror. Be the change that you want to see in others. You cannot expect people to arrive at school on time if you are a latecomer. As a principal, be exemplary. In these days, what matters the most in people is not what we teach them verbally. It's what we teach them through our actions. If you are a lazy teacher, then what kind of kids are you expecting to get? You are 10 minutes late, they will be 20 minutes late. You don't do your planning, they're not gonna learn because they can see that you are a mess. It's only that they won't tell you that, ma'am, you've just wasted an hour of our period. As a leader, I also came to understand that it is for your best to make sure that you understand others in your institution. Always remember that you are not perfect. There's nobody who's perfect. Don't expect others to be perfect. Allow them to make mistakes. But then make sure that you make it that they learn from the mistakes that have been made. We are not perfect. Embrace others' uniqueness. Don't try to change people to be like you. Embrace their uniqueness, but make sure that they are productive within the institution. We all have blind spots, so make sure that you become a very good listener. As a leader, you need to make sure that you win the trust of others. How do you do that? By being honest, transparent, and you should always make sure that you acknowledge the contribution of each and every individual. It doesn't matter how small it could be, but acknowledge the contribution made by people. We've got those people in our institution, our staff, that would have the attitude of saying that it will only be done perfectly if I'm part of it. Oh. And I'm sure if you are a principal, you can put a face into what I'm saying. Do your best at all times. That is, be the best version of yourself. In me, I even have a saying, whatever Brenda touches turns into gold. Whatever I touch, I will make sure that I make a difference, especially if I'm talking about a child. Because there's nothing to me that fulfills as seeing somebody in the long run saying that you made me to be what I am today. So don't ever underestimate your contribution in the children, in grooming the future of the children of this land. Capacitate yourself. Oh. You know, there's nothing that threatens us as people that are knowledgeable within our institutions. A principal will always have enemies, because if there's anybody who wants to try something new, you feel threatened. Embrace the uniqueness of people. If you see the need that you need to develop yourself, go. Institutions are there. They are waiting for you. Don't take your school as a place of retirement. I will only leave this position when I retire. Oh, no. Grow, grow, grow. The world is waiting for you. Be influential. The key question that I want you to ask yourself: do you have the skills that enable you to influence just about anyone you want to work with? Do you have the skill? Do you have what it takes? If you are about to start a project, if people were to know that you are the one who's coordinating this particular project, would they trust you? Would they want to be part of that project? Do you have what it takes to influence people to willingly come to your group and say, we want to be part of this group? Because they will only do that if they know that by the end of the task, they will be better people. there's something tangible that they will gain instead of wasting their time. If, for an example, you go to your staff room, you know you've got people, if you were to assign a task to them, everybody in the staff room will walk out. Because they would know that that will be a club of gossiping. There's nothing tangible that will come out. That's me with time, horrible. But then let me jump to the conclusion. With all that what I have said, I want to boast about my school. Fortunately, Anne is my mentor. Bruce has been to my school, and I've got friends that have seen my school. Academically, the high schools that surround my school make sure that they reach me before the other schools because they are fighting over the output of my school. We make it our business to produce the best. We are not saying that we don't have challenges, because we know countrywide we've got a challenge with the low performance of learners, especially in numeracy and literacy. What I found out, you may challenge me on this one. I found out that if you look at the foundation phase, they are taught, for an example, numeracy in isiXhosa. When they come to grade 4, the teacher has to reteach what has been taught over the 4 years, translate it into English. The time that has been wasted doing that, no new content is being taught. That gap will remain. That is why I feel sorry for the high school teachers. I'm coming from there, I know what they are dealing with. And it's not gonna be solved in this near era until we realize the danger that is there. The department, don't tell them. I'm sure they want to catch me because I made sure that we are going to pilot a system where in the foundation phase we teach numeracy in English. We started last year. This year we are doing it in grade 1 and 2. Then next year we'll do it in grade 3. Then we'll see after that, does it work? So that we can I am very influential. I'll make sure that every school in Kailichad follow me. I'm not saying we are undermining our mother tongue, but then let's give a chance to build a better future for our kids. Somebody cared about us. That's what made us to be who we are. As a school, we are very functional. We have our ups and downs, but we are fairly functional. We believe in developing a child in totality. That is why in sport we also excel. We compete locally in soccer and netball, but we compete nationally in chess, in softball, and choral music. That is us. We are a material that you want to see in the location. Thank you very much.